So the first discussion items is going to be the city council goals and priorities. Do you, Cheryl, want to go over it?
Okay, so basically in terms of the format, I took the values that had been previously identified and then created a space for everyone to offer any objectives or performance measures that you want to see associated with each of those values or goals. So the first one was transparent, open, and honest government. And in response, we received improved communications with residents and local businesses, build communication measures with residents and local businesses, and correct past misunderstanding where possible. So I didn't know if any of you wanted to discuss those or even offer any additional thoughts you had in those areas.
So are you working from the updated document, or because there's 3 more in there?
So maybe I'm not.
I'm doing the one that you just put in the chat.
That was the original one.
And so which one are you talking about, Bruce? If you could drop it in the chat so we can
the one I can't. The one that Ian added his updates to my updates, and then Cheryl emailed it out to everybody. That's the latest and greatest.
Okay, so they're not truly, okay, so the original had the improved communications with residents and local businesses, develop effective document management and paperless processes, improve website design to make info more easily accessible, do more town halls, and build communication measures with residents and local business.
One that I have from Ian is, that's all I have. It's the same thing.
I didn't realize, because I thought he was just adding to the existing document, and it looks like that may not have happened.
I thought that's what I did, but
yeah. Well, the one that you sent out in the email from Ian has everything you just said in it.
Right, but it.
So it looks like because I took your original, I added mine, and then Ian added his to mine.
Okay. So it is. So the one that Ian sent is the compiled one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought for some reason something was missing. Okay.
And that's what's in the link, right?
No.
Okay.
I didn't update the link.
Okay. I'll just close this one. Hey, Salim's out of town, by the way.
Okay.
Has anyone heard from Donna?
Yes, we have. She's excused.
How's she doing?
I don't know if she talked to Cheryl.
Okay.
Did you actually talk to her, or did you just say that she was still having issues?
I received a message that she was still under doctor's care.
Okay.
So I'm going to step out on the wild side and up to share the document. If I can find it.
You're fine. I mean, if it's going to cause an issue, just so we can move this on.
Okay.
Well, here I can email it to everybody because I've got it right here.
Okay. All right.
I asked from the beginning if you could share.
Well, I'm on Kelly. I'm on an iPad, so
That's what. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. So we can just move on. So we can just move ahead. So
you guys are like a married couple.
So looking at some of the comments that we received, some of them are related to communications with residents and local businesses. So what did you have in mind above and beyond what we're already doing?
Is that for me?
Any of you?
For some reason, okay, wait a minute. I have opened this 5 times. Now they all popped up. Okay, now I'm back.
I'm waiting for Bruce's email.
It's coming right now.
Oh, for the first one, that's transparent, open, and honest government. is improve communications with residents and local business, build communication measures with residents and local businesses, correct past misunderstandings where possible, develop effective document management and paperless processes, improve website design to make info more accessible, do more town halls. So the most important one from what I see is do more town halls. Is that, am I reading this right?
No, I think that's I think one was highest priority, right?
Well, that was what your individual assessments. Now you have to come to your group assessment.
So I'm asking, what's the numbers though? So is it the 1 was the highest or 3 was the highest?
1 should be the highest.
Okay. So for the first one, that would be correct past misunderstandings were possible. What does that look like?
Let's see.
I'm going to step back for 1 second before we answer that question. So Cheryl, are these Ian's rankings or are these a compilation of rankings?
It's a compilation. The ones in black are the ones that I suggested. You can even reject those, but just to give you some ideas. The ones in the brownish red are from Bruce Cantor, and the ones in the brighter red are from Ian Ferguson.
Other way around, the brighter red.
Yeah.
Brighter red, other way around. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, the rankings that are off on the right hand side are meaningless at this point.
Yeah,
okay.
They are, because I just put numbers there because not knowing
so that's
what was high
yours.
or low.
Right. Okay. So what is our goal here, to pick out to rank these, or to pick out the most important ones?
Right. So in theory, what we were trying to do is identify what do we need to be addressing in the coming year or years, and then who's responsible. Some of it may even be for council to do, some of it may be for staff to do, but we need to know what your priorities are, and then we can try to align those priorities with what we incorporate in the budget.
So as I was saying, and in going with that, trying to make sure, I don't think, for me personally, that I can make a decision on what we should have or what we should use or give my opinion on it if I don't understand the statement.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why starting back from the beginning is, what do you mean by correct past understandings? What does that look like for correct past misunderstandings where possible?
Okay, so I guess that ball is in my court. So I guess the bullet number 2 and 3 is what I added, right? So build communication measures with residents and local businesses, right? So what are we doing? Well, I should ask the question, what are we doing now to build that?
So I'm asking the question first, where I ask, what correct past misunderstandings where possible means? What does that look like?
Okay, so the past misunderstandings, and I think we should just talk about the dance troupe that used to be in the city. Okay, so there was some level of misunderstanding or communication issue where either it wasn't resolved correctly or it was resolved, but the other half of the party felt that, you know, they were either not heard or not communicated consistently, because they showed that on one of our council Zoom calls, right?
So that's the case with everything we do.
Right.
So yeah, that's true. That's true. So is it
that's my question though.
But that's
what does it look like for, because that wasn't, how would we as a council be able to satisfactorily or satisfy every misunderstanding, which is really not that's not necessarily a misunderstanding. It's not what you wanted to hear. There's two different things to that.
Right. Great example of that was the recent town hall that we did for the capital improvement bond. I mean, it was, or not town hall, it was a council meeting where we had to talk for 20 minutes about all the misunderstandings that were out there. You know, that happens with every single issue that we do. People, you know, they take one little piece of information. And so I agree with Kelly. It's an issue, but I don't know if there's anything that we can do about it other than, you know, just try to communicate as effectively as possible. And then when we do have situations like we had with the capital improvement bond, you know, take some type of action, like a 20-minute, you know, statement to, you know, set people straight. I mean, I agree. It's an issue, it's a problem, but I don't know what we do about it.
Well, I think what we did was the right thing. So in this case, regarding the dance troupe, so I'm not taking up arms with the dance troupe. I'm just using it as an example. So this misunderstanding could be miscommunication. So maybe we should take the protocol that you took, Bruce, and say, okay, look, you know, we had this dance troupe and here's our decision on it. So maybe they didn't understand the decision. Maybe they just thought they could negotiate. Maybe that was a misunderstanding. Maybe we weren't upfront to say, really, there's nothing we can do. Here's our position.
So here, I mean, this might be the killer of careers, but I'm not willing to do every single issue that we have a city manager that's in place to do the day-to-day operations of what goes on. And we selected her thinking that she's going to be capable of handling those day-to-day operations. And so everything that someone is not satisfied on, they can come to council to discuss it. You know what I mean? And so I still am trying to figure out how we as a council can correct something we don't even know about. You know what I'm saying?
I think the way we correct it is just by improving communication.
Yeah.
The other things that are there.
Yeah, that's my point. I mean, I think we should improve communication. Either we deal with it in the front end or the back end is, you know, frivolous FOIAs, which is what we went through last year and the year before. You know,
no FOIA is ever frivolous. Just FYI that no FOIA that someone from our public wants to know about what we're doing is frivolous. But and you know, but we're recording that one. So
hey, listen, I'm not trying to. I know we're recording, but the bottom line is it takes energy to go through those FOIAs when clearly we've been forthright with information. We've been open when it comes to communication and what we do. We are not doing anything in the back door or in the room.
What I'm saying, don't go down this rabbit hole, please don't. Because
I'm not going down the rabbit hole. I'm using, okay, we had plenty of FOIAs. I know what you think I'm talking about. I'm talking about.
I'm just saying, I don't. Okay.
I'm not being specific to the last FOIA.
To be I'm not thinking of anyone particular. I'm just trying to redirect you to say, FOIA is a law that is being transparent as a government. You can do as much as you want to. There's no, I mean, that's why it's not frivolous. If somebody wants to come and FOIA something every single day about whatever, that's their right to do. That's all I'm trying to, and I'm not saying anyone specifically at all.
All right. I think we're on the same page. I mean, I just don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying. I was using that as an example.
Right. So that's why I was just kind of just helping you along. So anyway, the one about the past misunderstanding, I want to know, and maybe I'm doing this wrong. When I'm doing goals, I have like some action steps behind the goals. And so when I see this correct past misunderstandings were possible, I'm just simply asking, what's the action step that's behind that? Or do we reword it to say something different?
Okay, I understand that. So it could be one of two things. Our action step could be to take items into council to clarify communication, or we could reword it to say just that, clear up communications through the council session to finalize.
Yeah, I still think that this is a byproduct of improving communications.
Yeah,
improve communication. I'm in other words, I don't think that this is. I think it's important, but I don't think it's a goal because improving community. If we improve communication, if we do the first one, which is improve communications with residents and local businesses, that should help reduce any misunderstandings.
Okay. Well, I guess should we take out bullet 2 and 3?
I think so, because I think they're all I think both of them, all three of those to me are the same.
Yeah.
Okay. I say we take it out.
And so going back to what we were saying before is, okay, so we improve communications with residents and local businesses. So our performance measurements look like what?
Well, let me ask another question. Is our goal tonight to take these down to the next level, or is our goal tonight just to identify what the goals and objectives are?
Especially identifying the goals and objectives. If we have time, you can drill down to, as part of it. But if I'm hearing you correctly, I'm hearing that you want to continue to improve communication with residents and businesses, and a lot of things are already in place. There's always room for continued improvement. So what might that look like? So we're doing some technology enhancements. We're redesigning the website. There's already electronic newsletters that are going out on a very frequent basis. The city administrator reports are now available on the website so that everyone can see those updates and get the information at the same time that the council is. So the one part that the council takes ownership of are the content of your meetings and the town hall sessions, where you can also disseminate information. So now we're making more use of the PSAs as another tool.
So improving the website design to make info more easily accessible would be a performance measure for improved communications with residents, right?
Yeah.
Or another step, or that's another objective.
I think that's another objective. I think that one should stand out on its own.
But that is still a way to improve communications, is it not?
Correct.
So would that be a goal, or is that a actions item?
I guess it could be either way, as long as we don't lose track of it, because I think that's an important goal. I mean, I still find when I go to the website, like, you know, part of it was I was distracted because we were in a meeting, but you know, I got a text, I got actually a couple texts and a Facebook message saying, where's the packet? And I'm trying to do it. There should just be like MuniCode should be like blaring on the front screen kind of thing. So I think there's ways we can improve the website.
And we already started making some of those adjustments.
Right. And I know that.
So
yeah, we can improve communications with residents and local businesses through a variety of means, including improving website design, something like that.
So just to go through this so you get an idea of what my thoughts are, because believe me, I'm doing this in my private work, the same thing of doing goals and objectives, since we're going into the second quarter, is that you have your goal and then you have your steps, and trying to delineate between which one's a step and which one's a goal. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So improved communication with residents also would be I love the goal, and I think the step is the website. I think the steps are also town halls, which I would need to know more about. What does that look like? Is it town halls, or is it more opportunities to talk to the council, like, coffee hours, variety of, because I know we tried that some years back. I don't know if you remember that, Pam, but it was some years back that we tried to do a rotation of coffee hours. No, it was you all. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. I'm sorry. Is that what we're looking at? So
yeah, those would all be steps of improving communication.
Okay. And then the develop effective document management and paperless process, that would be a goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then what would be the steps to do that? That would be on you. Well,
that'd be like MuniCode and the maybe the budget software that we just purchased, and that kind of stuff, technology.
So technically for the first one, we just have 2, right?
So for the communications, I have the improving the website, the town halls, PSA, and council coffees, if that's something you're interested in.
Is the city providing us the ways of having this?
Yeah. I mean, those are examples. I'm sure there are many more that we could think of if we were to have a session to break these down into detail.
No, I'm kidding with that.
No, I know where you were going.
So are we good with the first one for transparent, open, and honest government? I just thought about one. Does anybody else have anything? Because I feel as though, and help me walk through this one. Something we have to do regarding social media, because I feel as though people think that we are ignoring them when I get alerts throughout the day that somebody has tagged me in a message, but it has to do with, like, the actual city business. So I don't know if there's a way that we can do a goal or flush that out. What could be? No.
I say leave it alone.
I say leave it alone too. I think it's just goading us to respond on villagers, basically.
Yeah, like there was one today, a big long one, and I read it and I'm aware of it now, and it's something that I can talk about at a council meeting if people want. We tell them over and over again, that Facebook isn't the appropriate place. Bring it to council, and so if people bring it to council, I feel like I'm Yeah. And I think it's a little bit of an issue too, but it's something that we've talked about before. And I don't personally have any new ideas on that, but if somebody wants to come to council and has some new ideas, we're ready to discuss it, but it's not an official channel.
So my question is this, I guess, is it where, because there's a lot of organizations that are now hiring people, and I'm not saying hire anybody before you say anything. They're hiring people just to do social media. Should there be like a goal, because that's where people tend to email or go on social media more to get their communications. Should there be something where to be open and to have a transparent, open and honest government? Is there a time limit of where, if you see that it is a city affecting issue, that there's a certain amount of time that the official city responds to social media? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yes, it does.
It does make sense, but I still think we have an official Facebook page that's monitored. So we are doing social media. We don't control villagers. Right. So again, I think it's great to be aware of it, and Cheryl and or the city comments on some things, but it's and I think we've been very clear, and we've said it many times that it's not an official channel. Some of us do look at it. Posts may or may not be seen, and if you have an issue, contact a council person. Put on the Facebook page, the city Facebook page. Contact the city administrator. So I think we've gone down this path before, and it's just there's the unfortunate. It's a catch-22, because we've got a lot of residents there, but there's also it's an untamed world.
Right. Yeah, I would agree. I'd say this, like Scott Baker said, I think we should limit our activity on villagers, because there's nothing good that will come out of that. I mean, we have our own Facebook page, and for us to even really, I hardly read it now, because I can't monitor that and then expect an email. I mean, I'm just expecting emails or someone to respond to me directly, as opposed to reading that and having an emotional response and then getting an email. I'd rather just get the email and just be very forthright with the response and not be biased against what was posted. You see what I mean? It affects us so many different ways that people don't understand, that we read that and it's like, holy cow, where'd they get that? And then now you have to kind of like reel that back in. Then you get your email. Then by that time, you already have this formulation that it's going a certain way. And I don't want that. I want to be as open and forthright with honest information as possible. So that's the long and the short of it.
I wasn't really talking about us as individuals. Thanks for sharing. I was really talking more or less the response from the city. If it's something like, are we picking and choosing what the official response from the city is on the villager, or are we not going to respond at all on the villager?
Oh, that's a different conversation then. If you're saying, yeah, so from the city's perspective, we already have that in place, right? We only have one person responding, and that was you. That's you.
No.
So we don't have that in place?
So one second. So let me try to explain what I mean. Like for the villager, there is an official response from the city of Lathrup Village. That's when you see the little the icon, right?
Yeah.
On the villager. My question is, when it comes to being transparent, open, and honest, should there be a time limit around? Are we going to posts that have something that directly affects, like who shovels the snow on 11 Mile? Or I mean, really solid questions there. Even though we're saying it over and over again in our council meetings, is there something that we should have in place that says you'll get a response when it comes to city affecting, you know, not opinionated requests?
I say no, it's not an official site.
If I could offer this, unless you're going to hire someone to dedicate all of their time to monitoring and responding, it's not practical to even suggest that. The only timely response I could ever offer on a regular basis would be contact the city at. That would be the standard response.
I think that's kind of like what I'm saying, to get some type of order around it, because right now it looks like we're kind of picking and choosing. You see what I'm saying? There's been I mean, like today there was a response, an official city response to it, but there's been other questions in there that no one's responded to.
Right, and we've said that in the announcement that when we first started decided that we were going to casually monitor it, we specifically put an announcement out there that said we're not going to respond to every post. We're going to respond to posts. We're going to provide information on city events. We'll respond when we see things that are, you know, dramatically incorrect, or if there's, you know, I mean, we basically said, we were very clear that we were, and this is what we ran through with Scott Baker. We talked about this at one of our meetings, and, you know, Scott blessed it, that, you know, it's not an official site. We'll respond, you know, when we feel it's necessary, but we're not going to get involved. We also said that we're not going to get involved in conversations on the, you know, on any post. It's going to be more of a one and done, because like Cheryl says, even to post, you know, contact the city, you know, that's still going to take hours of time, because there's some days there are 60, 70, 80, 90 posts going on, and it's difficult to find them all. Because people comment on other people's comments. I know even when I go to casually read it, you know, somebody will say, "Did you see the post that somebody put out there?" And I spent 20 minutes trying to find that post.
Exactly.
So I don't think that there is, outside of, as you said, Kelly, of hiring somebody to do this, I don't think it's a viable. Yeah, I think we just got to let it go. Let people, you know.
But then you have to make the distinction between when are they trying to seek a resolution and when are they just venting, and how do you discern the difference?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say, Cheryl, is a lot of people go on there, they vent, they get it off their chest, and they're done with it.
They're done, right? That's why we should stay in our own lane, really.
And for the situation today in regards to the speeders and the people blowing through stop signs, the response was, then contact the non-emergency number, which is the same whether it's a council member or a resident. Contact the non-emergency number. We don't have, you know, 20 cars out on the street at any given time to be that type of responsive to it, but we know we do try to address it as best we can, and we do have the radar signs out there. But the question was more specific: can we do speed bumps? There are issues with speed bumps or humps or whatever you want to call them.
My question is not really, I mean, it's not specific to what my question is kind of like, as a resident, taking my hat off as a resident looking at this page, it's where there is no, to me, it does not look like there's any type of structure around it.
There isn't.
And so,
I mean, so to be consistent, the only consistent response would be not to respond at all.
That's my question. And that's really what my thing is. Either we're going to respond or aren't. It just kind of seems picky and choosy kind of thing. And so that's why I'm just saying, for transparent, open, and honest government, why are they responding on this one, but they're not responding on this one?
I'm perfectly content not to respond to anybody unless they come through the appropriate channels.
Right, right. And that's what
we get the complaints about it. No, I mean, there is no.
Right. But the reason why we came about this, if you remember, it was probably about 2 years ago now, was because we were running into situations where there was tremendous amounts of misinformation, and we wanted to try to get ahead of it. So we said, on certain instances, we'll post to make a correction, to answer a question before, an obvious question where the next step is it's going to go down the rabbit hole and there's going to be 90 responses based upon a bad piece of information. So we said we would judiciously respond, when it made sense, but we were not going to participate, as an official channel. I really don't think we should change that. I mean, I think, maybe the answer is we, through the city ID, put a post out once a month reminding people, saying this, reminder, this is not an official city channel. The city will, basically the post that we put out the very first time we started commenting under the city's name, we just redo that, every 4 weeks, 6 weeks, so that people are reminded of it and it becomes more ingrained, as opposed to, doing it once every year and a half or whatever. That might be a better solution.
I think the issue went back 4 years because Pam used to respond to those, and it was like, Scott Baker said, why are we doing that? Let's just stay away from it. But I agree with you. Maybe we should have some consistency saying, hey, this is not an official site for the city, and if you need to air your grievances, contact the following people or post on this or whatever our protocol is going to be. So
yeah, I'll go back and find that post, because I think I was the one who wrote it after we had that council meeting.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then I will let it go, because obviously there's not, maybe it's just me today that's not knowing how to communicate effectively. And I'm trying really to, but when it comes to, when I'm looking at the one goal as transparent, open, and honest government, and then I sit and I look as a tax-paying resident and see that I asked a question that I thought was very important and it wasn't answered, but then someone else asked the question and it was answered, is not showing that we have any type of any type of continuity in how we're responding to the messages. So I do like the idea that this is not a page that, that we're going to respond to, or we don't respond at all, or you respond to anything that's affecting the city. And that's why I'm trying to say coming under the transparent, open, and honest government. That's all.
Let me say this. We have been an open and honest government. So if someone thinks we're not and they vent on villagers and it's inaccurate, then yeah, we can address it, but I wouldn't open up a can of worms on villagers to try to respond.
Yeah, I would
What's the problem?
I would say, Kelly, I honestly think that in the 2 years that we've been participating, and it's close to 2 years now that we've been participating in Villagers, I think we've done a really good job of, picking what to comment on and what not to comment on, staying away from the emotional, venting, conversations, and just providing factual information when it's necessary to, kind of correct the ship, so to speak, and to prevent, things from exploding. But again, it's not. I mean, I understand your comments about transparency, but I don't think we should be considering this as one of our tools to judge us on transparency, because it's not our tool. We don't run it.
Right. Let me ask Mayor Garrett this, because I see you're uneasy with our response here. So is it your concern is that the people on Villagers don't think we're open and honest government, and you're trying to correct that? Or are you genuinely interested in saying, okay, we should have a presence on Villagers to address any issue?
Absolutely not in both of them. What I'm saying is to have some consistency. If you're going to comment on Villager and it's something speed bump road millage. You're going to comment on anything that is effective, that is something that we are dealing with right now, as in through council, or you have a question about speed bumps, or you have a question about what's the code for whatever. Are we responding to all of those, or are we not? Because it does not appear, and I'm not talking about the venting ones because I don't think that we should. I'm talking about the ones that sincerely are asking you a question. Are we, just to have some consistency? That's all I'm asking about, not about any, you know, and I'm just saying then I'm looking at goal setting. I'm not looking at anything specific.
Yeah, we understand.
And so I'm just saying, should we have something as in when it comes to social media, we're not going to respond on non-sanctioned Facebook or social media sites, or it's going to be a response of you need to contact the office, or we're not responding, one response, or respond to all of them.
Okay, so let me just respond this way. If we have new residents coming in and they're being fed into the Villager Facebook, then yes, we should have like a disclaimer saying this is not an official site. If you need any questions answered when it comes to government affairs or whatever, if you have a legitimate answer or concern or whatever, you contact the following staff or council person. I think that's needed because new residents that are showing up that are living in Lathrup, and they're going to need that. They're not going to know that when they log into Villagers and see the stream of stuff going on, right?
Right.
They're going to think
it's repeating that message.
Yeah. So we should repeat it, and I agree with that. Let's do that.
And Kelly, I'll say one more thing, and then I'll stop talking about we can move on, or decide. I mean, the one thing I would say is if we don't respond at all, like we were doing before, we're going to look less transparent, right? Because we're judiciously responding to, again, where it makes sense or when we see stuff, and if that goes away, then I think we're going to look less transparent, not more transparent.
I agree. You look really non-transparent with that hat, Bruce. I have to say that now, but yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So that's all I'll say. But
okay, we're done.
Moving on to
item number 2.
I'll wait till we're not recording to say what I truly want to say, but I'll wait until we're not recording any longer.
Okay, so the second, there's only 20 to go. The second item, dedication to service. Our primary duty is to the people we serve. We are accessible, responsive, consistent, and understanding. So, provide assistance beyond our customers' expectations, and we find effective solutions to problems that are brought to our attention. Some of the goals and objectives associated with that have been provided are improve operations through upgrades in technology, maintain high quality neighborhoods and housing stock, maintain robust, attractive business corridors, promote a safe and secure community, develop and prioritize improvements to parks and playgrounds, improve quality of life for residents of all ages, continue improvement in response time to residents for any type of contact, increase code enforcement. Yeah, okay. In business district, including a quarterly assessment walkthrough of every property, provide a maximum of 1 initial response to see, click, fix reports with an additional response every 3 business days until the issue is resolved. Develop initiatives for blighted buildings and along business corridors. So are some of those goals or some of those action steps, are there others or something's redundant?
So I did see something that seemed like it's redundant. I really like to develop the initiative for blighted buildings along the business corridor, but I did talk to some of them and I know why they're blighted or not in use, but that's a good idea. I also think it's really that goal for the provide a maximum one work day for see click fix, because I went through it last night, and I think that that is a really good goal also. um I think the increased code enforcement, I wonder who wrote that. Increased code enforcement in business district, including quarterly assessment. The continued improvement in response time to residents. I think that could have went into the first one. And I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I promise. I'm not going to say anything else.
Oh, we understand.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the one that you said that you liked, which was the where was it? About the business corridor. I think the code enforcement one, I think, falls right into that, because, you know, one of the reasons why, I think one of the main reasons why our business corridor looks so bad is because we've gone 20 some odd years without code enforcement. And so what ends up happening is, you know, you've got one parking lot where, you know, there's potholes that are just craters the size of Volkswagens. And, you know, the guy next door, you know, starts to get a pothole and he says, well, I'm not going to fix it. No, nobody's going to call me to account to it. And it just mushrooms. So I think, you know, it's been great that we've had a code enforcer, and you can literally see the difference that he's starting to make. You were able to see it before he left us. And now that he's back, you're seeing it again. But this really needs to not be a one-time only thing. I think if we do like a quarterly or 3 times a year where he walks every building in the corridor, then we're going to start to get the reputation that we're enforcing things, and things aren't going to get let go, and it's going to increase the improve the quality of the business corridor. Right. So that was obvious, like you said, Kelly. You knew who wrote that one. So
well, unfortunately, I've been walking the business corridor, so I can totally understand where you're coming from now. And as much as I didn't want to keep agreeing with you about certain things, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I walk it every day, almost every day, and it's a nightmare. I mean, I get so frustrated. Ask Rami. He gets 2 or 3 C-click fixes for me almost every day.
I saw yours. I knew they were yours.
Yeah, and just so you know, I haven't been walking the last week or so, so I'm behind.
I guess Rami would be very grateful for that right now. I saw yours today. So the one thing that I did see that might be redundant was, and maybe it's not, improve quality of life for residents of all ages and maintain quality neighborhoods and housing stock.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe the quality of life part should be like a subset of the housing stock part, because I had a question on that. So what does that look like when you improve quality of life? So
now some of these were identified in prior years, and so I just carried them forward for you to determine if you want them continued to be here, or if you want to flesh it out more.
Maybe we should, or have it be a subset.
I think both of them actually, the subset and the maintain high quality neighborhoods and housing stock. I think that could be flushed out more. I think if we're gonna do this, and I know I'm probably tired just as like everyone else, to really do the goals instead of just taking them forward, you know, because what does that truly mean, you know? Or sorry guys, but I'm on a roll now. Why stop?
That's all right. Yeah, I mean, just to expand on that, you know, so maintain high quality neighborhoods and housing stock. So that this high quality neighborhoods and housing stock, does that mean, you know, any kind of cleanup or neighborhood initiatives to make it look a certain way, and or work with either owners of abandoned houses or houses that need need improving. I mean, we've got to kind of define that.
And taking this a little bit further, to maintain high quality neighborhoods, promote a safe and secure community, and then improve quality of life. Are those all three somewhat similar?
Yes.
Yeah, like I think, improve quality of life, you could, as a subset of that, the
right.
parks and playgrounds one could go in there.
Right.
The safe and secure community can go as a subset of that one.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I think we're in agreement with that.
So we don't need to do any more with that one.
All right. I didn't hear any steps associated with any of those other than the code enforcement.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted some steps for blighted buildings. I mean, what does that look like? I mean, if we're talking about.
Well, I'm just thinking of a process here. It seems to me what we should do tonight is try to come up with the goals. And then, we could have a follow-up meeting, or actually, then we can rank the goals as a council.
Yeah. Okay.
And then once we rank them, then we can have a follow-up meeting to kind of flush them out and say, okay, well, what does this look like? If we rank this as a number one goal, so we should work on that first. What are the steps within that?
Yeah.
Because I think we're kind of mixing the objectives of the meeting tonight, and I think if we separate it and just get the goals tonight, I think that's a good starting point.
So let's back up just a little bit more then. How about this? Is the goal tonight to establish the goals, is just setting the goals and doing action steps, or we're just doing the goals so we all are on the same page? Because I thought it was flushing it all out, because I'm happy with just getting the goals together.
Yeah.
I think we'll be here till midnight if we try to do the action steps at the same time.
Yeah, let's just get the goals together. Okay,
so these goals the ones that we're talking about right now, they're going to be reworded and then sent to us, or how's that? Okay, great. Okay, then moving on.
All right.
This one. Then I'll shut up for half them. I'll just take my little point to stop doing my action items.
Right. So if we see something that needs to be merged into something or a subset of something, we should just say that, and then we're going to obviously review it at another time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. All right. Thanks. I say let's go.
All right. So then I guess the next value then would be fiscal responsibility, and some of the goals that were submitted are support economic vitality to attract and retain local businesses, support city lawyers' effort to keep the city from legal harm, maintain infrastructure, continue reviewing contracts, suppliers, business arrangements to ensure we are spending as little as possible for goods and services, review legacy contracts to determine, if needed, price correctly.
Yeah, we probably need something in there about the budget too. That seems to be missing. There should be something in there about, creating a timely budget and, sticking to it, and, clearly identifying things that are outside of, or things that exceed the budget, or, budget exceptions, things like that.
Yeah.
So that's the question. The continue reviewing of contracts to ensure we're spending. Oh, never mind. I answered my own question. What is support city lawyer efforts to keep the city from legal harm? What is that? I mean, what does that look like? I don't.
That one wasn't mine. Was that yours?
That was mine. Actually, well, it looks like what it looks like currently. So if we're doing it, we want to continue to do it, whether it's, working hand in hand with Scott Baker to, gather documentation and or support any kind of additional work.
Is that a leg, Susie? What's going on right there?
What'd you say?
I know that look. It's a dog leg.
That's a dog leg. He got pushy and wants belly rub.
I wasn't looking. Okay, sorry.
Sorry about that. I get so with that also, and this is the question sincerely, would that fall under review legal contracts.
Yeah. Well, no, I think that might be separate. Although it's closely similar. So
because I mean, it's one, if you review legal contracts to make sure they're priced correctly, but also to make sure that, you know, the legalese within it and that kind of thing. You know,
yeah, it's pretty close. So if it's close, maybe we just do a subset.
And I guess I need a little clarification because the category is fiscal responsibility. So.
Okay, so
okay,
so maybe okay, so maybe the review legacy contract should go up where fiscal responsibility should be, like right under support city lawyer efforts to keep the city from legal harm.
And offer that also, instead of legacy contracts, to review all contracts.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we should move it up and then make that adjustment.
Being fiscally responsible for all of the whatever, you know, the contract is for.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything is staying, and the only modification is to review all contracts instead of the legacy?
Yes, you have to move it up to move it underneath the support city lawyer.
The continued reviewing contracts and review legacy contracts seem to me the same thing now.
Yeah, they're very similar.
Yeah, so I thought we just said just review all contracts.
Yeah.
Just make it one, review all contracts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Maintain all public infrastructure. And I'm saying being very specific only because I've had quite a few calls about the ditches and trees between the sidewalk and the street. So that's what I mean, being specific or not.
Say again, you're being specific for what?
Maintain all public infrastructure or City of Lathrup Village infrastructure.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So insert the word public.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry, you lost me there for a second. Okay, you're right. We can do that.
Oh, I'm afraid of the next one, but let's just keep finishing this.
Okay.
Okay, the next value is personal honesty and integrity. Each of us demonstrates the highest standards of personal integrity and honesty in public activities to inspire confidence and trust in our government. The suggested goals were update council rules and procedures, update board rules and procedures, code of ethics provided to all newly elected appointed council and board members, review code of ethics that looks similar to newly elected appointed council and board members, attend meetings and provide ample notification for absences, and when absent, watch the missed meeting on YouTube. Read entire meeting packets before meetings, respond by agreed upon deadlines, be on time.
So I think that the first one, update board and council rules and procedures, can be combined just by saying board and council.
Right, they're the same thing.
The
other two
provided and review, those are the same things.
Yeah. Combine.
So provide to new elected appointed council and board members and review. Maybe let's do a set time. Maybe once a year, review it.
Yeah.
Or twice a year, or I don't know, but it's time frame on that maybe. Didn't we do that before with all the groups together?
Reed did it once.
No, we've done it. We did it twice. The first 2 years I was on council, we did it, and then we had I think we had all the groups together. Because I remember the first 2 years we did it for a very specific reason. And then the third time we did it was with when all the groups were together. I think it was at a joint meeting.
Oh, I see. Yep, that's true.
So maybe we should say that we'll do it once amongst the council and then once amongst all groups. Every 2 years or every year or
every year sounds appropriate.
Every year, yeah.
Okay. Now let's move to this: attend meetings and provide ample notification.
Yeah, so those were all mine.
Yes.
I could tell. So that was not a shock.
Yeah.
So
but is that a goal or that's just the wish list?
It's a goal.
It should be a goal, but should it be specified? I mean, should it be specific? Attend meetings and provide 24-hour notice if you're going to miss a meeting. So because it's your what's it called? Word
Quorum.
Ambiguous of saying who's going to be the person that's going to say ample notification.
Yeah, 24-hour notice you should strive for 24. I mean, on occasion,
yeah,
things happen, but we've had so many instances where we get no notification, or we get notification a couple hours before a meeting saying, oh, I can't make it, and no,
yeah.
And then the other things, I mean, it's painfully obvious that there are times that packets haven't been read. We don't start on time. Just meetings tend to not start on time. We have deadlines. For example, for this whole exercise here last time, nobody met the deadline. I shouldn't say nobody, somebody did, but yeah, I mean, it's hard for us to be effective if people aren't meeting deadlines, showing up for meetings and not reading their packet. And
that's true.
So I think that needs to just be reworded: attend all scheduled meetings and provide 24-hour notice of absences, and review the material, however you want to review the material, before the next meeting.
You might want to give some leeway on the 24 hours, maybe 12 to 24. And that's not for me. I'm just saying, maybe a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Because it has to be some responsibility.
If you're professional, you're going to contact Cheryl 24 hours before anyway. If you have a last minute thing, like, hey, sorry, I can't make it because of this issue. Yeah, it's just
the reason why I'm saying 24 hours, or at least, at the beginning of the day, is because there are people that set their schedule based off of what we do in the evening, right? So it's just being conscious of other people's time too. So if someone is setting some time apart, from their family, their work schedule, whatever, to be somewhere, and we're sitting there for 15, how long was that before?
20 minutes.
And no one shows up, then it's like, I could have done X, Y, Z. And it's just being conscious of other people that are taking the time out to be there. That's why I was just suggesting either 12 to 24 is fine. I mean, just if it's an emergency, I mean, straight up, and I'm not trying to be, and I can't use those words, I'm not trying to be mean, is to say emergency, like an hour before, you should provide a doctor's note. I mean, that's how much is starting to irritate me. And, being stuck in a seat. I think we all are in this situation, maybe not Bruce, but, stuck in your Zoom seat for 8 hours. It's just, it's getting old real fast.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've got Zoom googly eyes because all day long. I'm like, geez, crazy. I get it.
Yeah. So I'm the one that's a little just picky on that one, because I was not the other day. I was tired. My eyes were burning, and,
Yeah.
I'm going to just keep pressing that one.
One approach might be to say something like assume personal accountability, and then
right.
he's
Yes.
under that.
Right.
Yeah.
And also meet the deadlines if you're unable. And I'm just saying, because I don't know how to, this needs to be kind of wordsmith. Meet all established deadlines. And if you cannot, again, a 24-hour notice or some type of notice to let us know we're not going to get to what we need by X time.
Right.
And I think this is all, I'm sorry, this might all be falling under personal responsibility, because the last one, be on time, is just let somebody know if you're, I'm having computer issues. I can't log in as it is right now.
Yeah.
Or I'm in traffic, just being conscious of other people. I am coming,
Yep. I agree. That's why it's called personal honesty and integrity.
I won't keep complaining about it then.
All right, if you're ready, the next one is excellence. We continually pursue excellence by being creative, professional, taking risks, showing initiative, and being committed to our team. In this pursuit, we support continuing education and training for all team members. And the 2 items identified are to register and participate in training offered by MML and other organizations, subscribe, read journals, organizations, and periodicals, and some were suggested.
I think that those 2 are straight to the point. I would flush that second one out about subscribe, read. Well, subscribe, read the journals, 2 organizations, 2 periodic. I think that's a great idea. Keep yourself up on what's going on. Bruce is the poster child for that one. I have it right here, though. I do go through it whenever I'm not on my Zoom, which is never right about me.
Right.
Those are good. Teamwork.
All right, we are a team that emphasizes high levels of trust and cooperation and commitment to excellent communication with the organization. We encourage employees to exercise independent judgment in meeting customer needs through professional behavior that is consistent with our values. And the goals were identified as provide teamwork opportunities to city staff, such as workshops, cross-functional work, social outings, and provide cooperative education opportunities to student residents, paid or unpaid.
So I think those are good. I have one more that is probably going to make people scream because it just made me think about it and I forgot to add it to it. But I've noticed that we've never done a retreat as a group. And I think that we talked about that when we were trying to be more cooperative group after that last incident, and we just never did it. So, and I just noticed, and I'm not trying to totally copy, but I noticed that Southfield takes their council, they have retreats together for different trainings, and you all are looking at me like,
what does the retreat look like? Is it like we're hanging out around a bonfire and we're saying, no, I never did the following, or I don't know what a retreat looks like. I don't even know what Southfield does.
It's more, it could be self-development, but it's all together, to build teams. They have team retreats where you can develop professional development, personal development. I'm trying to think, we used to do it through whatever job I had, that you would do it usually towards the end of the year and then go do something else afterwards. You all are all looking at me like whatever.
No, I've never.
It's
fascinating.
Been through many of those. I mean, we did them when I was working. We would do those things 2 or 3 times a year. So,
yeah, I just don't know what it looks like. I mean, I'm listening because I want to understand it.
Well, Susie offered to take you all under the rope.
What?
Do the what?
I know all about what you're talking about. Those are high ropes and low ropes stuff. I used to do all the high rope stuff. We can go monkey around in some trees. It'll be great fun.
Are you talking about over at the thing in West Bloomfield?
Tree runners. I've never been there. That's not where I used to work at a place called the Howell Nature Center, but we had the same sort of obstacle course.
Yeah.
Those are fun. Ian, it's kind of like, have you ever done any Leadership Oakland stuff?
Not really.
Well, they kick that off with a retreat. So
okay.
Well, it's a whole weekend retreat. I'm just talking about we can just do it for one day. Because for the Leadership Detroit and Leadership Oakland, they go away for a weekend. Mm-hmm. They know the teams, I forgot. Don't I have 2 people on the call right now that went through that? Right? Go ahead. I'll stop.
So it's basically exercises that are for leadership development, team development. Some of them are to build trust, like you may have to go through a wooded path area. One person can talk and one person's blind and you can't say words. And so you have to guide each other through obstacles.
Yeah, some of it's problem solving. Like how do you get from one particular obstacle to the other side of the obstacle within these constraints? It's so
you can't accomplish it alone.
Right. And so, yeah. So now they're all popping into my head. There's also the, what do they call it now? What are those rooms called?
Escape rooms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My team fell.
You guys were screaming at each other or what? You just couldn't.
The guy said, came in, I was like, seriously? But yeah, I just thought it'd be fun if we did some type of trust or team development.
So, but I'm hearing it on 2 levels. I'm hearing for staff, and then I'm hearing for council. Are you considering those 2 separate things or something combined?
Probably 2 separate.
Okay.
It would be fun for all, but we don't have direct access to staff, so it'll probably be better to be.
Yeah.
And they're 2 different teams. I mean, they work together, but they're 2 different teams.
Yep.
We'd have more fun without you guys there.
Yeah.
Ooh, that hurt.
Much as fun we have.
All right. The next one is a humane and diverse organization. We are a humane organization that honors diversity and protects individual rights. Open communication, respect for others, compassion, and a sense of humor contribute to our positive working environment. We make every attempt for every employee to reach his or her full potential. We value cultural and social diversity, and that is reflected in our community. And we welcome the changes and new perspectives that this diversity brings us. The 2 goals that were shared were appointments to boards and commissions reflective of the cultural and social diversity of the community, hiring practices of the police department reflective of the cultural and social diversity of the community.
Maybe the extra thing would be hiring practices in all departments.
Right.
Yeah, we can combine it.
No, not combine it, but just say instead of hiring practices in the police department, hiring practices at the city.
Right.
Because they are 2 different. The 2 bullet points on there are different.
Okay.
Let me ask you a quick question regarding the boards and commissions, right? So typically, if someone's interested in a seat that's vacant and they apply, they typically are selected. So should we try to flesh out what those requirements should be for boards and commissions?
Not sure I understand the question.
Okay, so when you have a vacant seat and we have someone, a resident or this person or whatever that would like to apply, I mean, obviously we get their background information, but maybe it's not a good fit, but they still sit on those boards and commissions. I know we're a small community, but is it possible for us to at least look for certain criteria in order to say, okay, this person may or may not be qualified?
Well, that's what we do.
Yeah, I was going to say, when it comes,
are we doing that? Because I didn't get that impression.
Sure,
well,
like go ahead, Kelly.
It comes to me. It comes to me and Bruce, and we go over them. We look at the resume. We look at well, if they provide a resume, we look at what they fill out, and that's how we determine who should be brought forth to the front, to council for recommendation.
Okay.
So it is happening.
All right. Thanks for pointing that out.
No problem.
And I do want to add, the one thing that has changed procedurally is that there's not a legacy seat on the boards. So whenever a term is up, they're posted, and the current occupant is encouraged to reapply. But it's not a just rubber stamp that that's going to happen.
Right.
It didn't happen for the Planning Commission, for example.
Right. Yeah, that was my next question there, as far as legacy. But thanks for clarifying.
Okay, and the last one is other. And some of the things that were offered were continue best practices in maintaining city grounds, parks, and entrances, code enforcement classes. How do I maintain my ditch and culvert? As an example, identify cross-functional opportunities, police officers and code enforcement as an example.
Maintaining city grounds, parks, and entrances, isn't that gonna fall? Didn't we have that under something else?
I'm not sure.
Gateways and entrance signs are going to be under the DDA, if that's maybe what you're thinking of.
I think you're thinking of dedication to service, where it said develop and prioritize improvements to parks and playgrounds. I think that's what you were thinking.
Would it fall under there or a separate?
It could definitely fall under there.
Yeah, you can move it to that one.
Code enforcement classes. Would that either go under excellence, teamwork, or
where are you looking, Kelly?
we're at the bottom where it says the other categories. One was code enforcement classes.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Oh, I was just going back to looking under the values of goals to see where that could fall at.
Okay.
Instead of it being, I'm assuming the reason why they're over there is to figure out where they go, or they're going to be their own goal.
It would probably go under dedication to service, because there's other similar things in there. That's where we had a bunch of other code enforcement ones.
And then the last one also, would that follow suit too?
Yeah, I think so. That was my suggestion. I mean, it seems to me, and I know we talked about this a few years ago when I was, made some presentations to try to get a code enforcer, but it seems to me that the police are driving around. There should be some type of handshake between the police and code enforcement, because they should be seeing things right and left that they could just refer to the code enforcement. So maybe we made a mechanism to do that. So that was what was behind that suggestion.
I think they're good suggestions. I'm just trying to figure out where they could fall at.
Yeah. So put those in dedication to service.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're saying both of them?
Yeah, both of them can go there.
Okay.
All right, so we finished that one. And if we could just touch on briefly the other document, which was on performance measures. And that was more on the department level, so that we could start incorporating in the budget document baseline performances and start measuring it going forward.
I'm trying to find it.
Is that in Unicode as well?
Yes.
Where is that?
It would probably be about page 8 or so.
Is it in the link? Is that what you're saying?
It should be.
Okay, hold on a sec. I was looking to see if I had it.
And the first page is City Council.
I'm still looking for 1 second. I don't know what's going on. You're saying it's in the link that is the Zoom link?
And what page? You said 8, right?
Hold on. So if you go to the agenda, so the first page and item B, and then there's a link there.
Yep.
And that should take you to the document.
Yep, I got it open.
Somehow I lost the agenda, so I don't know what's happening here. That's the budget.
Looking at page 8.
So
I'm at finance and budget.
Council,
say again.
For the City Council, as you see, it says provide high quality public services and infrastructure that meet the needs of local residents, value and build a desirable and vibrant community for residents, businesses, and visitors. And then your performance goals that are suggested, and you can modify or delete or add, are looking at the number of meetings, special meetings, ZBA meetings, town halls, ordinances adopted, resolutions adopted, proclamations, subscribers to the e-newsletters, users of the city's Facebook page, joint meetings with Southfield and Planning Commission and DDA. So those are things that can be measured.
Can we also add in joint meeting with Beverly Hills and Southfield City Council?
Anything else?
Do you have anything regarding the annual meeting with the road commission? I don't see that there. I think we have an annual meeting with them.
Okay.
And is that feasible? Should we do it twice per year, or just trying to get some input because we haven't been able to do much with them?
I think setting a goal of annual would be a huge jump. So
Okay, that's fine. I'm just asking.
you can always exceed it, but
yeah.
anything else on that?
Believe it or not, I'm still trying to find the actual agenda, so I don't know what happened to it.
You don't see it in the chat?
Oh, no.
The link?
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm doing something else. Oh, this your, oh, yeah, I'm doing, yeah, I gotta take minutes on municipal code.
What's going on? Did I miss something? I'm looking at the document. Oh, quick question on the first page. Do we have a refresher ZBA training scheduled, and should that be scheduled?
No, you don't, but yes, you should.
Because the last time we went was 2 years ago, I think.
You are definitely due for a refresher.
Yes. And that was in Pontiac.
I will, I have a conversation scheduled with Jill for sometime tomorrow. So I will,
okay.
I will add that to the list of things that she and I need to touch base on. And we'll find a day for you all.
Do you want that under, I'm sorry, do you want that under performance measures or back on the other document?
Related to, I need some input on that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Because we already have, performance measures. Because you have the number of ZBA Board of Appeals meetings there. So might as well add it there.
All right, anything else for your own performance measures?
Which one are we on, page 8?
No, what was it? First page.
Sorry.
Yeah, which was page 7. So now we're on page 8.
Oh, sorry. Let me scroll down then.
Okay, the next one is community and economic development, the planning and zoning. I won't read it all out loud to you, but if there's anything that you want to add or modify, you can let us know.
Let's see.
What's CEDD?
Community and economic development.
Ah, yeah, okay, thanks.
So this performance measure is for who?
Me.
Oh, okay. All right.
Corey's in there too with the DDA stuff, but
okay,
she's down there a little bit more.
I don't see anything related to charging stations, which is going to be very critical in the next 3 years for this city.
That can be Parks and Rec.
Okay.
I mean, charging stations, we can add that. That would probably be under zoning changes, right? So
yeah. Well, maybe we should state zoning changes to accommodate e-mobility. I think that sums it up, right?
Yes, I mean, that's one way to sum it up. I would just say, because I know that's something that we talk about in the master plan, which is why it's worded the way it is, right?
Yeah.
To make it broad enough to fit like a whole smattering of categories, right?
Right.
Right. I mean, if you want to add it in there, that's more specifically.
All right. There's nothing else there. The next one is street paving bond projects. And the performance measures are the reports and status of the projects, having the information available through all of our means, tracking the progress and invoices, and developing and implementing a project plan for special assessments and those notices and hearings that are required.
Just a quick observation. I'm not sure if we can go back to the section before. I'm not sure how cell phone towers apply to Susie's goals, but we know it will be a key player in e-mobility as well as just technology in general. So do we want to add something in there to investigate further how it will affect the city, or how to expand on usage of cell phone towers, something like that?
Was that private or public?
Well, we own them, so
no, we don't own them.
I thought we owned one of those.
We provide a.
I think.
You lease the property. You lease property to allow for the towers.
Yeah, I thought we had an issue where a company wanted to purchase the cell phone tower from us.
Right, but that never went anywhere.
Right.
So we're still in a lease agreement with them.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know where this should go then. Help me out.
Are you talking about building more towers, Ian?
No, not building more towers, but
sounds like you're saying adding capabilities to the towers, but again, we don't own those towers. Those
right.
towers are private, so that, I mean, I don't think it sounds like it would be one of our initiatives.
Okay.
Again, I think you're talking zoning changes, right? And like things to make sure that whatever goes in on those towers, you know, is capable of advanced stuff, right?
Right.
But I don't know how we actually can enforce, like, you know, I don't even know, like, is it 5G? I don't know if we can enforce that kind of
right. It's an unknown, obviously.
Those towers, right? Because those,
right.
like Bruce was saying, those are private towers and private investment.
Right. Okay, we can table it, but probably can discuss further. Because I don't know either. I mean, I just know it's going to impact the city. I just don't know in what regard.
I mean, it can be part of like one of the next projects that Planning Commission is going to work on once they get through the cannabis stuff is a zoning audit to see where elements of our zoning ordinance may need to be tweaked. So, I mean, that can be one of the questions that we pose to Giffords and say, hey, where, you know, how would you suggest we incorporate these kinds of things?
Yeah.
So could the performance measure be around updating the zoning ordinance to reflect new technologies?
Yeah. That's a good approach. Just want to make sure we capture it. I mean, if nothing's needed, then at least we talked about it.
Okay. And was there anything else in going back to the street paving projects?
I think you captured it.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, and the next one are the capital improvement projects.
Yeah,
basically the same, which makes sense.
It does. Okay.
The next category is Downtown Development Authority. And that's looking at the commercial landlord and business licensing procedures, increasing the volunteer base, enhancing social media outreach, the distribution of the grant funds that we're getting through the county and state and federal government to the local businesses, and promoting placemaking and streetscaping enhancement and increasing the number of new businesses.
I think you got everything. I don't see anything that can be added there.
All right, special projects, also known as
Corey's.
Whatever we came up with for Corey to do in addition to everything else. And that's producing the weekly e-newsletters, producing quarterly Your Town magazine, the periodic print and video updates from the DDA for the businesses, and assisting with updates on the website. And just so that you know, she was the one that had put together the layout for this upcoming edition of Your Town and handled that entire process, and it should be coming out soon.
Oh,
and
nice.
She's the one who's putting together the layout for the e-newsletter. I send her what I want included and anyone else, and I do a final review, but it takes a couple hours off of my day, so it's been a tremendous help already.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
The next category is the police department, and Chief McKee looks like he's still here with us. continue with the Power DMS, that's the online training, and the TASER contracts where we're doing ongoing renewals, purchase a new vehicle to replace an older one on a rotational basis, the Guardian tracking software for early intervention for employees, purchase Police One Academy subscription for virtual training classes, focus on hiring qualified police candidates, preferable with experience by enticing them with lateral pay incentives, enroll in the accreditation program through the Michigan Association of, I don't know what the C is, police, purchase portable radios to be compatible with the new countywide radio system that's in a state of getting ready to do some upgrades, recruit and hire candidates to reflect the diversity of the community, monthly updates on transparency dashboard, monthly report to city council on activities, alarm summary, radar, traffic sighting, readings, officer ticket activity, work with architect on completion of department space study, host at least 2 community education engagement events a year, and provide city administrator with monthly report on accomplishments of the department.
Thinking, should there be anything regarding diversity training? Diversity or what's it called?
De-escalation or something?
Right.
I think that falls under the virtual training classes. We would have to look at that schedule.
Am I not seeing the virtual training class?
It's a bullet 4 at the top.
We can drill down to include, okay, the chief's mic isn't working.
Oh.
If you can hear me, Chief, you want to call me on my cell phone?
Yeah, I think it might be covered under bullet 4.
So I think he's saying, yes, it is covered.
Okay.
He just text me. Okay.
I mean, it may not be economically feasible because I understand those courses are expensive.
Okay, he's calling. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, you there? Okay. Okay, now I have you on speaker. Okay. All right, so did you want to comment?
Yeah, the first thing I wanted to comment on, Cheryl, is that was one item I missed in our budget meeting today, and that was the applying for accreditation. That's accreditation through the state of Michigan, through the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police. That cost to do that is $1,500. So I would need to add that to our budget item as well.
Okay.
What that does is that gives us a year and a half to get all our policies and procedures in order, provide proofs, have an outside agency come in and do a mock assessment of our department, and then the state accreditors would come in, do an assessment, and as long as we pass, we would then be accredited through the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police.
Okay. And your department has been working on getting some of those ducks in a row.
Yeah, we've been working long and hard on this for quite some time, just trying to get things together. You know, part of that was doing the property room audit and cleaning that out, and you know, getting everything straight. So we've been working towards this the last couple of years, and we feel in July we'll be ready to go and start being able to dedicate you know, more time to this. Along with this accreditation, I mean, it addresses everything. It addresses our hiring practices. It addresses you know, the use of force. It addresses transparency. It addresses everything that we are facing in media, and that's a hot topic in law enforcement right now. It addresses all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very helpful. All right, any additional questions for the chief while I have him on the call?
Yeah, just one regarding, well, I want to say drug use, but I think some of the training addresses how to treat someone that's, being affected by some sort of overdose or whatever. I think that training is also in that realm of training classes online, right?
Well, so we've done some overdose training with the Oakland County Health Department. All of our officers are issued Narcan for heroin overdoses. We do, we show up on scenes with the FD and we work closely with them. But yes, we're always looking for training classes, whether it be, coming across someone with mental health issues, dealing with, elderly folks, dealing with overdoses. We're now putting out a form to the community. We just finished it for anyone in the community that has a resident that has any type of mental issue, especially geared more towards younger people that may run away from home, or anything that they would come across that would help the department address it if we were to run into one of these individuals. If there's any type of trigger, if they don't like to be touched, or if they don't like loud noises like a siren, just anything like that we can put out and try to give our officers as much information that when they come to a resident's house, they're fully aware of what's going on or what the situation they might come across.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The one item that I think Councilwoman Stallings brought up a couple months back, and I'm in agreement, is human trafficking. So we know in our minds, we know what that looks like, but also human trafficking could consist of massage parlors and things of that nature. Is there any special training for that, or is that along the lines of virtual training as well?
No, there's definitely advanced training in human trafficking, and the fact that we have a couple massage parlors popping up, we're definitely looking into what kind of training we can address or gain whatever knowledge we can, because they have their own kind of issues surrounding establishments of those natures if they're not on the up and up.
Right. Okay. Thanks for the input, Chief. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so just it sounds like you have questions about the virtual. A lot of this, because going outside to an outside agency or an academy, it takes them away from the city. It takes extra time, extra fuel, and then we have man hours that we've got to backfill with. So trying to address this, since we've become virtual and we're looking at things in a different way, trying to look if we can do an one-year annual subscription to a virtual academy. There's a couple. There's Police One Academy. There's another one called Virtual Academy, which we're looking into as well. Find out which is going to be the most cost-effective, but it will also give us the ability to do training while they're on duty for smaller things like maybe hazmat training, or maybe a legal update trainings, things like that will address maybe in short segments, like 20-minute segments, where they can actually do it in the station on duty, and that way it's a win-win for the department and the officer, and they're not going on their off day, things like that. So we're just looking for different ways to get education as least expensive as possible.
Understood. Appreciate the input. Thanks.
No problem.
Thanks, Chief. I'm going to disconnect now.
Okay, then I think I'm free to go, because once I disconnected, I'm not sure if I can get back in.
All right. I don't think there's anything else that's impacting you. If not, if it is, I'll call you back. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So the next one is Parks and Recreation. And the two broad categories are programming and community building, looking at having at least 3 classic events or programs a month, engage 20% more households from underrepresented neighborhoods in recreational programming, host at least 1 event or activity at each neighborhood park. On the community building, partner with at least 1 community group for each major Lathrup Village event, host at least 4 community park cleanups, and host at least 1 community service project.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds aggressive, which is good.
Yep. Do we have anything in there to address social distancing? What's the protocol?
It depends on what the CDC and the MDHS says that 24-hour period.
Should we add something like that? You know, maybe CDC mandate for social distancing within parks and recreation activities?
That might fall better under the building and grounds.
Okay.
So that there's this clean and safe environment component, and it applies to more than parks and recreation.
Okay.
Okay, but a good point. So anything else for parks and recreation?
Oh, it's covered.
All right. Then buildings and grounds, there's the 3 broad categories of clean and safe environment, tracking systems, and building review. Under clean and safe environment, less than 3 safety incidents per year, pass semi-annual kitchen inspections without any corrective actions, system in place to solicit feedback from building users. So is that where you would like to add adherence to
the
pandemic
CDC
standards or something? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And under tracking systems, to put in place a mechanism for tracking facility maintenance requests and emergency repairs and projects, and a 90% response rate to facility maintenance requests within 24 hours, which is real ambitious with this building.
Yeah, I agree.
On.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And building review, general building inspection, to complete that, and inspection reviews completed for major building systems. And those are listed. All right. Nothing else?
No, that's covered.
Okay. And then the building department, which includes code enforcement, looking at identifying the best practices, and then establishing the baseline for year 1, because we haven't had those in place. So this would be the identification year. Do a measure between building safety, BS&A, and see-click-fix, and making sure that the information is consistent. Satisfaction of residents with code enforcement, develop and disseminate a survey tool, as well as provide a report. Monthly report on inspections with status to council and DDA, articles in the quarterly Your Town publication, articles reminders at least 6 times a year for the e-newsletter, and respond to posts on see-click-fix within 1 business day, and update the file when the file is closed.
I would just, for that last one, I would just say respond to initial posts on see-click-fix, and then I would say, to be consistent with what we said earlier with the objectives and up in the objectives session, and update every 3 business days until file is closed.
Mm-hmm.
I like the articles for Your Town and the e-newsletter. I think anything that we can do to get code enforcement, more visible is just going to help you put that in the back of people's mind. Oh, I can't do this because it's a code enforcement violation. I might get caught, kind of thing.
Yeah. He's working now on a special publication, or at least an information packet for residents, as well as I've convinced him to do a PSA of some sort. So the worst thing you could have done is let me know that there's a green screen. There's going to be a lot of. I told him he'll have a cape, and we'll call him Captain Code Enforcement.
That'd be great. We could do something where I'm doing something wrong, and he can come in and sweep down with his cape and say, "No, you can't do that because."
Right.
I like it.
Make it fun.
You're talking about Rami, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he got me. He knocked on my door and said, "Hey, you're not supposed to have firewood on the side of your house like that." And I was in the basement, and my wife said, "Who are you? Show me your ID." And he showed his ID. I was like, "Oh man, I forgot all about that firewood." So that weekend I split wood and stored it away. Completely forgot.
Good.
So
But
see, I'm not
playing
exempt.
favorites.
I'm not exempt, so.
All right. And let's see, for the building department in the areas of permits, inspections, licenses, to provide a monthly report of all permits issued, inspections, license issued, establish a baseline for timeframes for applications to time that the permits are issued, identify best practices for the first year, implement a plan to inspect all businesses annually or semi-annually. We just had a team meeting in regards to that, and the building official and the fire marshal don't think they can accomplish an annual inspection. So we're trying to figure out if it's going to be every other year or even every 3 years and rotate among the buildings, but we have to drill down on what that's going to look like. Measure compliance with business licenses and landlord and rental licenses, and update rental building file to implement rental inspections and annual inspections. So was there anything you wanted to add to that?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, and clerk elections. Looking to recruit and train elector workers for each precinct, maintain current safety standards for election work sites, maintain separate folder and post on websites for resolutions, proclamations, ordinances, public notices, and minutes for the council and planning commission on Municode meetings. I think Yvette's on the call if you had any specific questions.
Nope, that sounds good.
Nope, it's good.
And the finance department. Produce monthly financial reports for city council, invest all cash in conformance with adopted investment policy, and a quarterly investment report to council, establish and monitor bond funds and projects, issue timely payment of invoices, monthly bank reconciliations for all accounts, timely tax proceeds disbursements to other governmental entities, update the chart of accounts in accordance with state requirements, address any outstanding audit findings and comments, and reduce the number of water billing complaints and billing adjustments.
Actually, this is probably, well, it kind of fired a neuron in my head. Unrelated to our performance measures, but do we have a mechanism in place on when the water bill rate increases? Oh, you're on mute, Pam.
Well, it's with the adoption of the budget. So you include that in what you adopt, and it becomes effective July 1st with the start of the new fiscal year.
Okay, so what we approved is for what I'm talking specifically about is the capital improvement bond increase.
Okay.
It will be adapted with the budget.
Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions on that one?
Nope.
Then human resources. Provide training and cross-training for staff on BSA, BSNA, and point and pay. In fact, there's a point and pay training tomorrow. And produce new employee orientation packet. The next one is public services, so DPS, also known as Lathrup services. Meeting weekly with the city administrator to review the projected weekly job assignments, work orders, maintain an inventory of materials. The catch basin maintenance, that's a requirement from the state to inspect annually along with the cleaning from April to November. Then monthly reports and different housekeeping. So there's a number of things that we just need to make certain that they are providing the information that we need and they're performing the required maintenance and repairs. Anything? The cable channel LVTV to provide services, a monthly and annual report, regular programming for the council meeting and all of our meetings, special programming, including video snaps, news events, public service announcements, and any additional services that are requested. And the last two are the city administrator and the city attorney. It really isn't anything for me. Okay, maybe not. Okay, recommend the budget and amendments. Maintain a balanced budget, monitor monthly water loss reports, review new vendors, list monthly, produce monthly city administrator reports with council packets, monthly meetings with staff, conduct annual performance evaluations of our department heads and direct reports, and review annual self-evaluations of performance evaluations of all employees. Is there anything you wanted to add for me?
Not sure if you do it. Should there be some type of measure in response to residents? And that was for anybody who would like to answer.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think anywhere where we can
respond within one business day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Through any means contacted.
Right.
Well, you know, all joking aside, respond with the way that you responded to. Does that make sense?
Was that?
Respond via the same mechanism that you were contacted by.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let me say that if it's something that's verbal, if I have the means of documenting it, I try to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for that, kind of like what happened with what Ian's first example was with the ballet place, I can't think of, studio, I'm sorry, is, and this is just something that I've done a lot, where if it's something that's not a good outcome when it comes to a conversation, it's just follow up, you know, with a good meeting you or a good meeting with you, and you know, what was stated, and it's in an email, and you CC me or Bruce on it.
And I definitely did the documenting part.
Yeah.
I did not necessarily share the information because sometimes you don't even know it's an issue until somebody says it's an issue.
Right.
You know, and this is just what I do personally when it is a response that somebody's not feeling or doesn't like, I just tend to send it in CC like a director or somebody on it, because it's like, I don't know where it could go, nowhere. But you know what? You see that I did respond, and this is what the conversation was. There's just, you know, I guess this is the age of, I don't want to say it, so I have to wait for that one. Yeah.
But I mean, I could get 20 communications a day or more, and it may sound, it's like, so this is where we are. Let me know what you think, and I don't hear anything else. So I don't know that it's an issue until it becomes an issue. But I can definitely make more effort to share
it's just
the abundance of information that the residents kindly share with me.
Don't hold back. Tell us how you really feel, Sharon.
Bruce, that's all. I mean, it's not, I think 24 hours is good, the same mechanism that you're contacted. And I'm just saying that, you know, when we're talking about kind of like what Ian was talking about from the very beginning, just trying to figure out ways to squash misunderstandings from the beginning, and that's just an idea of what to do. And some of them, you know, you might know immediately if it comes from a particular organization, that organization is it's you know that's all.
Yep.
Okay. All right, and the last one is the city attorney. There really hadn't been anything in place in terms of assessing his performance. So it seemed like a good time to have that conversation. And looking at what that might look like is provide a written feedback within 5 business days of a request. Provide reports on tax appeals and status. provide draft of ordinances within 30 days.
I have a question.
Okay.
So provide written feedback within 5 business days of receipt request. Who is that regarding? What is that regarding? Who is that regarding also?
Well, myself and any department head or even an elected official may ask for information from our legal counsel, but there's no parameters around expectations in terms of a response.
I would say 3 days. 5 days seems a little long.
5 business days is awfully.
Yeah, I would say 3.
Okay.
And that seems long, but yeah.
All right. And then the last one is for prosecutions to provide a monthly report on closed cases or files, including the charges, the case, the offense and date, and the disposition. Not including the individual's name to identify it since it's a public record, but at least so that there's some record of what's being done relative to the prosecutions. So if that is okay, or is there any
that's fine.
change?
Yeah, I think that's good. I don't know if we're missing anything here. You know, over the last couple of years, you know, we ran across some ordinances, and even the city manager criteria, for that matter, needed some updating. So do we continue to like knee jerk this thing? So like if we run into something, then we address it through the legal counsel, or should we have it be an ongoing thing where, you know, continuous improvement of zoning ordinances and policies and procedures that should be updated consistently, whether it's annually, quarterly, 2 years, whatever.
I think that's excellent. I think I know what you're talking about. I think that's an excellent idea. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Cheryl.
No, I was about to say the exact same thing, and that's essentially what's in place for the zoning ordinance through the Planning Commission. They go through that process and identify some of the, you know, I don't know, the low-hanging fruit or the hot issues that need to be addressed more on a more timely basis, but still having a long-term plan to look at different areas. So it would make sense to have something similar for the city attorney to work on for the city codes and ordinances.
Yes, I agree.
But I mean, yeah, and my question is that him or is that him and us to identify what ordinances or what subjects are we going to be doing this year, or, you know, whenever.
Yeah. Okay. And I would include staff, because we're often the ones encountering the opportunities for improvement in our code language. So establishing the process and the initial ones that need more immediate response, and some that can be more on the longer term would make sense. Okay. That's all I have. Anything else?
You have dinner for us?
No, we don't get that anymore now, do we? To me, it should be at least
a gift card.
Once a month, we should get some type of box.
We get something. I mean, Bruce likes walking the corridor. Just hand it to Bruce. He'll walk down the corridor.
I'll deliver.
He'll deliver.
I'll pick it up. I mean, we should have something, because we are now, and I mean, I'm joking, not.
No, you're not. You are not joking.
And just, you know, it's what's that commercial? Free. We are speaking really for free.
So speaking of well, food. So Jersey Mike has a 100% of their proceeds, or I shouldn't say proceeds, or sales will go to a charity. So you guys might need to look into that. I think that may be tomorrow or Thursday. It's tomorrow. So please look into that.
For who?
Just in general, if you want to, you know, take a carry out for dinner, do it.
So it's tomorrow?
Yeah, 100%.
They're not technically in, are they in?
Yeah, that's Lathrup.
Okay.
Yeah, we claim that.
Okay, we'll keep it in.
Tomorrow, the 31st?
Yeah, it's tomorrow. 100% of the proceeds.
No, I'm sorry. I was just, I received something for a meeting.
But let's get back to the free food. So we haven't received any free food in a while. Right, Mayor?
Well, the mayor's having a food distribution on April 17th.
Oh, I forgot to tell you that. After,
oh, man.
Oh, Lord.
Not that we're not going to forget about not us getting, you know, us not receiving any little box lunches that have like potato chips and sandwiches and like an apple or something in it. That was a great hint of what you could send to the cops.
I hear you.
But yeah, to tell you all, Bruce and Ian, is that I finally got in touch with someone that will be doing the food distribution again on April 17th. Thank you for reminding me, because I forgot to post it and I forgot to make a flyer.
Where are we going to be?
It's going to be at Lathrup, like we did.
Oh, it's going to be in the parking lot, or? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, same place.
Same place, same bad time. So I am really excited about it, because that was really, when I say that was a begging situation and massaging figuratively, to get that done. You're welcome.
Okay, drop the mic now. Why don't you?
I really did, because you know there's so much more, but I see that recording thing in the left corner, so I'm not going to say any more. Then we'll have it on the 17th.
Okay.
Many people don't understand that a lot of things are, the work that goes on in the background to make it happen can be considerable. So.
That I'm just saying that it is not just, you know, it took a lot of text messages, emails, phone calls, and it was just I'm telling you, it was a fluke that I just reached out to this one group and she was like, okay, we'll deliver it tomorrow. And I'm like, no, we can't. So yeah, I'm just going to not say
that's anymore. Good. That's good.
All right. Well, thank you for doing that for the residents. And before I let everyone go, I want to mention that Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence has extended an invitation to any of the communities within her district to apply for some of the community support funds. And we are trying to do that. We just found out this week, and the applications due Monday.
Apply.
Yeah.
My understanding is that we were supposed to get, not apply.
Well,
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm being.
Well, I prefer that language.
yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, we're trying to put together a grant relative to the police department in particular, because, you know, this whole space expansion is quite costly, and we haven't figured out the funding for that yet. But there's a lot of technology and equipment associated with that. So we're looking at one of the grants, possibly the COPS grant in particular, to apply for that. And we're looking for letters of support. And so I'll draft one for probably the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem to submit with the application, which is due on Monday.
Okay.
But anyone else who would like to do a letter of support, we will welcome them. The more the merrier.
How much is the grant?
We're what I put together is about 300,000.
Oh, nice. All right, that'll work. That will work.
So lots going on.
Oh, good. Hey, Susie, before we dash off, I probably need to call you this week to talk about the spring roll and all that. So,
okay.
You know, we got a couple months, but we got to try to get it organized somehow.
You do realize for the spring roll that a lot of the roads will be torn up, correct?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It'll be a tour of the construction future.
Lathrup Boulevard is going to be all right.
Yeah, Lathrup Boulevard will be fine.
Okay.
Santa Barbara is going to be torn up. That's going to be the main thoroughfare that'll be torn up, but then you'll have, you know, bits and pieces everywhere else.
I have 2 questions. You brought up the Santa Barbara thing. I don't know if you know that when I back out of my driveway, that is Santa Barbara. So do we have a idea of what that looks like? Are we?
They're working on it. I mean, there will be, you know, depending on which street you're talking about, there will be anywhere from about 2 weeks to 4 weeks of, you know, hell basically for the residents. I mean, we're looking, you know, Scott Ringler is currently working on trying to figure out what to do about postal service, garbage. You know, we're hoping, you know, just some of the things we're thinking about, hoping that parking can happen on the adjacent street and people will be, I guess he said the last time we did streets here, you know, people were very accommodating, allowing people to cut through people's backyards to, you know, get from parking on the opposite street to get to their own home, things like that. But he's working on it, and
this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
The police department is lenient in terms of issuing tickets for people parking, you know, overnight and things like that. Right. So
when I talked to him, Scott and I drove the potential streets for year 2 construction last Friday, and we were talking about that. So he's working on those kinds of issues right now.
Well, the second
we're going to do our we're going to talk. I think we have a meeting scheduled for Thursday to talk about points for the first PSA, and you know, we'll probably talk about that. So in the PSA, just to kind of let people know that we're thinking about it, and we'll have definitive plans.
I have a question.
Oh, well, go ahead. I do have.
Is that PSA going to be run on villagers?
It'll be announced there along with many other places.
Okay, just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, turn.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Never mind, because I'm not gonna do the repeat. My question is, I remember we did have some complaints about when we do the Southfield corridor cleanup. And now I'm taking my directions from Bruce, but because I am walking more, I have noticed that there is an overabundance of trash that's on the on South, you know, for the businesses. And I'm just wondering, are they being, you know, and maybe because I don't use C-Click Fix as much as my counterpart, but is that where I should be putting stuff, or are we going to be kind of, you know, letting the businesses know that they need to, now that the snow is gone, it stays away, that's me knocking on wood, that they're responsible for getting out there and cleaning their stuff up?
Yep.
Well, that was the gist behind, I think it was probably 6 weeks ago at this point, maybe even a little further back, of, you know, the idea was we were going to send them a letter, all the businesses, a letter regarding, you know, trash is, you know, we've been lenient, we're not going to be so lenient anymore, and, you know, we do have code enforcement. And I think I brought that up the last meeting, and I think Susie or Cheryl was going to be working on it, so I don't know where we stand on that. But you're right, C-Click Fix is where you should be reporting it. And that whole idea for the letter came about because I was reporting trash, you know, issues like you're seeing right and left. So
I'll forward the monthly report that Rami submitted that we would not normally get until the April meeting, but he addresses some of that. But I also let him know that there's an ongoing situation with some of that trash. But I know he's been working with the businesses on that.
Yeah, and are we working actively on a letter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, Corey and I, we're on it. She's and she'll be including it in our next e-newsletter. or information on it.
Well, I don't think it should be an e-newsletter. I think it should be a letter that goes to all the businesses.
Right. I'm just saying in addition to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I was hoping, I was giving you the benefit of the doubt on that one. I was like, no, they wouldn't just put it in the e-newsletter. That doesn't sound like that would happen. But thanks for the clarification, because I guess, you just need to go out and take a walk to understand Bruce, right?
Yeah.
So, I speak.
I'll have you know, I really resisted bringing up parking blocks because.
But here's the thing, I almost brought them up, but I was like, I don't know, because I've been like messing with you so much. But now that I have been out there walking and I almost tripped, which I'm like, no way, if I fall and hurt myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I forgot, Susie, that we have to talk. I had to break up a little tiff, as I've told Cheryl already, at Jagged Fork. So.
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
I don't specifically know about that tiff, but I understand that those situations maybe
they're escalating,
rearing their heads again. So
the one person has hired an actual tow truck to sit there on the weekends.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Behind the building. And it's just it's gotten and all I want to do is just walk and enjoy the day. But
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, just one quick question to Bruce. So when we start the Santa Barbara reconstruction on the road, and maybe you could take this back to Scott. So if there's an issue with the road that may require a C-click fix, is that the avenue we're going to use? For example, if a resident sees something that could cause damage to a car or whatever, are we going to utilize C-click fix, or do we need to just contact someone specifically, or should they contact someone specifically?
You mean during the construction?
During the construction.
I mean, they have a myriad of ways that they can contact the city. They can use C-click fix, they can call Cheryl, they can send an email to any of us, same as any other issue.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
And there's also an online form on the website for whatever your concerns are. I added one on I added the city administrator page. And on the city administrator page, there is also a way to share whatever your concerns or comments are, positive or negative, or questions. So we're trying to open up all possible venues for reaching out.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. No slow roll this year then.
Well, you can still do it. You just have to be.
You just need to go slowly. That's all. You just need to go slowly.
Okay.
Just need to be creative, and there's no, if I remember correctly, there's no construction this year south of 696.
Okay. All right. Good.
So, so you can do it. I'm just saying you're just going to need to, be creative when you create the route.
Yeah. Okay. No problem.
Oh, and well, never mind. I'm gonna put it on there. Never mind. I'm not gonna. I forgot that I was gonna bring something up, but I'm just going to just not do it here. So, because, yeah.
All right. I'm not saying anything else.
For real. Okay, well, guys.
All right.
Public comment.
Nothing else, then.
Public comment.
Oh,
there is no public.
There is no public.
Okay.
Was that a question, or was that was a statement?
I just didn't want you to close out the meeting without having called for it.
Oh, we have 0 attendees.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
all right.
Hope you all have a good night.
Thank you. Happy Easter.
Holidays, whatever, if you celebrated. If not, have a great weekend, and we'll all talk soon.
Take a break and a breather.
Yeah. Bye.
See you, Bruce. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye now. Bye, Pam. Take care. Bye, Cheryl.
Bye.